Just learn to shut up when I'm talking to you. It can be anything. You want to file a case, go and file a case.
This is not just another hospital story. It's about power, protocol, and what happens when the two clash in the most sacred space of healing, the emergency room. It's a story that exposes the cracks in our healthcare system, the pressures doctors face, and the terrifying truth of how politics can infect medicine. A patient had been receiving vitamin B12 injection for neuropathic pain, a routine course of 10 days administered from the OPD. Simple. But on a holiday, the patient shows up. The nurse on duty asks them to take the injection from the emergency department as OPD services are shut. There, the emergency doctor explains, routine injections are not administered in casualty, visit a local health center. What followed wasn't clinical, it was political. You see, this wasn't just any patient. This was the mother-in-law of a senior journalist with political ties. He called up the dean, who is also an orthopedician, and he manages to arrange the injection to be given from the ward instead. But this isn't sufficient for the journalist. He wanted the doctor to pay. A few phone calls later, the health minister is involved. Not just involved, enraged. The health minister storms into the casualty, camera crews flashing like it's a red carpet. He demands to see the CMO, sits on the doctor's chair with legs crossed, commands the doctor like a school principal disciplining a student.
Put your hands out first when you're standing in front of me. Mask card by You get out. I am suspending you. First learn to shut up when I'm talking to you. It can be anything. You want to file a case, go and file a case. But I am telling you, you're suspended from right now. You just understand one thing. You're dealing with me. Other next 2 years, you'll be suspended and you'll remain as long as my tenure is.
No inquiry, no protocol, just raw power, flexed, displayed, broadcast. But this time something unusual happened. Doctors had enough. The video went viral, the doctor community erupted, a strike loomed. The chief minister stepped in, clarified that no suspension had been formalized. But the health minister, he refused to apologize. Then he gave a textbook narcissistic non-apology on live TV. Take a look at this.
I would like to apologize once again to the doctor and his family if I have hurt his sentiment. I have always seen and transformed the health sector in the state of Goa. And there was a press reporter who called me saying that his mother-in-law is not being given a particular injection because she was in a lot of pain. So unfortunately, a 77-year-old, and generally I am very particular about discipline. That outburst, I have already put it on my social media that it was inappropriate. I have no ego.
Does that even look like an apology? He was just justifying what he did with the pretense of an apology. The doctor in question asked for a real personal apology. Not symbolic, not theatrical, from the same spot where he was humiliated. It never came. A notice was issued that government employees are not entitled to receive an apology from ministers. Pretty much an official declaration that says that ministers can do whatever they want and never have to face repercussions. Just then, the doctors give an ultimatum that they would go on a strike if the HM doesn't personally apologize. Enter the chief minister. In a bizarre twist, he makes officials apologize to the chair. I am not even making this up. Not to a person, but to a chair. Because their egos couldn't handle apologizing to another human being. And to make matters more farcical, a random doctor, not even part of the hospital, accepted the apology on live television, formally closing the chapter. Let me tell you why this isn't an isolated incident. Someone or the other comes in saying they know him and demand immediate attention. If not, then he wouldn't agree. Look at the recruitment numbers at GMC, stacked heavily from one constituency, Walpoi. The HM stuff. Rewind a bit further to the second COVID wave. Chaos. No oxygen, no beds, residents tossed around, hospitals denied training, denied dignity. All while the administration looked away. This man has recently been embroidered in allegations of illegal amendment of laws for land grabbing and profit. But what was most appalling about all those years was the silence of the senior faculty. Spineless, fearful, complicit, dancing to every rhythm of us, afraid of losing their jobs. You can see in this video how he is commanding the MS as he would his personal secretary.
As a MS, you please see that he's not here on duty today. Send him home just now.
Here's why this matters to you. If people in power can just walk into a hospital, override protocol, suspend at will, it sets a terrifying precedent. Next time, a dying patient may be denied care because the minister's friend wants a routine injection. And not everyone has the courage to say no. And that dying patient just might be a loved one. Protocols exist for a reason, especially in under-resourced government setup where doctors are few, drugs are scarce, and time is everything. If we start bending the system for the powerful, we break it for everyone else. Doctors often go out of their way, we stretch ourselves, skip meals, miss families, all in the name of compassion. But if we keep compensating for systemic failure, burnout happens. And when burnout happens, empathy dies. That's why you sometimes see rude doctors in government hospitals. They're human beings worn down by an inhuman system. Showing compassion would just make you overwork needlessly. Think about this. Can we just walk into a politician's office and threaten to suspend him if he fails at his work? Because hey, they are supposed to be serving the poor as well, right? Doctors serve the public, but we aren't punching bags. We're professionals trained to save lives, not cater to egos. When ministers believe they can overrule clinical judgment, threaten suspensions, or hijack institutions, they not only violate ethics, they endanger lives. And listen, I get it. I know some of you might be siding with the health minister because you had a bad experience with a doctor. Or maybe you were overcharged at a private hospital and assumed all doctors are in on it. But let me be honest, most of that money goes to the owners of the hospital, not the doctors themselves. I've seen bad doctors, arrogant ones, apathetic ones. We all have. But for every one of them, I've seen 10 others. Kind, compassionate, exhausted, bending over backwards to fill the gaps left by a broken system. I've seen doctors cry after losing patients. I've seen them give up their sleep, their meals, their mental health to serve people who may never even thank them. I've seen some of them get crushed under the weight of it all, and I've seen some still rise, resist, and keep fighting. So before you judge the profession by its worst examples, take a moment to see the humanity in the many who are doing the best in impossible circumstances. This incident also reflects deeper problems in our healthcare system. We need better primary care so that people don't crowd tertiary care for routine treatments. We need strong referral system with hierarchical tiers of hospital, not just in name but in principle. And one more thing, we need politically inclined people and administrators to truly understand how systematic deficiencies affect real people. The poor, the marginalized, they suffer the most. But the irony is, the ones in power never experience these problems. They skip the long queues. One phone call or casual name drop bypasses every protocol. Why would they need to fix a system they don't need to rely on? If the health minister truly cared about the welfare of patients, he wouldn't just walk into a casualty to flex authority. He'd sit down with doctors at every level. Ask about what's broken. Listen to why understaffing results in delayed care. Understand what are the emergency medicines which are not available, and try to understand why people find it difficult to navigate through the basic services in healthcare, because it's confusing. He should be helping build a system where care delivery is seamless, not one where interns, residents, junior doctors are expected to endlessly patch up institutional cracks through self-sacrifice. Burning out a generation of healthcare workers is not a sustainable solution. We need protection for doctors from abuse, from arbitrary actions, from fear, but also as doctors, we must also reflect. Why do so many distrust doctors? Somewhere, something in our collective behavior has allowed that perception to grow. We need to fix that together. I learned over time that calm, respectful communication solves 90% of conflicts. Unless you're dealing with a power-hungry maniac, most patients just want to be heard. Do share this video if you want people to understand the problem and spread awareness. And for all the doctors out there, keep going on. Don't focus on the negative and look at all the positive effects you're bringing into the society. And most importantly, don't forget to take care of your own mental health.